immigration bill. I am working for the descendant of slaves to gain generation wealth, education, housing, job, and service for senior citizens. Call your state representative to support this bill. God bless.
Paid for by drwilliewilsonfoundation.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all right, continuing our conversations with Republican candidates for the 14th congressional seat, the nomination first to face Lauren Underwood. We just talked to Ted Grottle. Now it is time to talk to Catalina Lauf. She's a former advisor at the U.S. Department of Commerce and now she's a GOP congressional candidate for the 14th. Catalina, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So you've made a bit of a splash on social media and in this race as sort of next generation of Republican leadership, which is something that the aged and decrepit Illinois Republican Party is in desperate need of. Give us your value proposition as a candidate, why you chose to enter this race at this time.
So I was born and raised in this district, and I've just seen how badly, year after year, poor leadership, not only in the state, has caused where we're at, but also on a federal level. When President Trump won in 2016, I think it was a big wake-up call, not only his disruptor persona, but the fact that he was an outsider. And during a time where Republicans just felt like we didn't have hope on a national level. And I've seen just the rise of these young people on the far left, Lauren Underwood included, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the rest of these very far left progressives that are destroying our country from within, not only with their policies, but also from a rhetoric perspective. And I believe that it's time now that our side, the conservative movement, has new people, new perspectives on the side of freedom to really counter voice what is happening to our country on a federal level.
Now, it says that you're a business owner. Tell us about yourself and what businesses you've run.
So I'm not sure where you receive the business owner perspective. I've always been very transparent. The fact that I work for my family's company. We have a light vest company called Body Worn Gear. It's a new product that we just developed. So I'm in charge of product distribution and our go-to-market strategy here. But previously, I was with the U.S. Department of Commerce. I was a political appointee with the White House under President Trump, and have always worked in the small business aspect, and that's been a big part of my platform, considering we live in such a state that is just killing our small businesses. And the fact that they're such a backbone of our communities is very scary to see that we're seeing such low growth in that area in small businesses when we have people who move out of the state. That kills our small businesses too. So it's something that I've always put in my platform and truly believe in a free enterprise, entrepreneurship, pro-growth economy. And I'm very passionate about that.
And again, you sort of alluded to it, a sort of position, been branded a bit as an anti-AOC type of candidate because you're a young woman, and you're running against particularly the three seemingly leading candidates here who have decades of experience on you, both in public office as well as in business. And so one of the questions would be, is this the right time? Do you have enough of a life lived, of a body of work put together to do this job more effectively than, say, somebody who's been successful in business or somebody who's been elected to office in Illinois multiple times?
That's a great question, and I will leave that up to the voters, because I will say that how have the career politicians helped the voters here in Illinois? When you have a long business experience, that's fine, but it comes down to people who are actually passionate, who want to put the power back to the people. I truly believe that we need new faces and new perspective. And it's not necessarily about age. It's about who can make the most impact, who can do what's right by the constituents and do it with passion and somebody who cares. And I just don't see that from these more established candidates. Our career politicians continue to run over and over again. They really want to be in Congress, but it's not about an accolade. It's about doing what's right for the constituents. And since the beginning of my launch, I think people in this constituent base have really seen that, this genuine drive, this authenticity, but also the fact that I'm not afraid to fight. You know, if we want to continue running backbenchers all the time, I don't care how much business experience or career politician experience you have, you're not getting anything done. And I'm tired of running the same candidates over and over again, expecting the same result, while the people of Illinois sit here hurting, and while our country hurts on a federal level.
If you're the nominee, no matter who the nominee is, they're going to get tagged with Trump because, although I don't know exactly how unpopular he'll be in that district, but it'll be 50-50, and particularly to certain target audiences, they'll try and tie the Republican candidate to Trump and some of his more controversial statements, I'm sure. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with not running away from the president, galvanizing the base, but also having that crossover appeal to bring in voters that maybe went too far left when they decided for Underwood 2 years ago?
So a great way to mitigate that, and I'll go into the running away from Trump thing as well, because I did see a lot of Republican candidates in 2018. I would include Hultgren and Pierre Roskam in that category as people who very much underestimated the president, not only in 2016, but also the support of the president in 2018. They really tried to run away from him, and I see that with a lot of Republican candidates now. You know, they'll talk about Trump in a primary just to win a Republican primary, but as soon as they get there past the primary, they'll start saying, you know, okay, this is a general. They'll shift the message, and then ultimately, if they get elected, they might not fully support him. I've been very supportive of the president, not only from 2016, but considering the fact that I actually worked for the president's administration, and I'm not going to shy away from that, because what he is doing in his America First agenda is something that all Americans have been able to prosper from, and that message, when you're talking about growing the base, it's so important that as our demographics change, not only with the minority community, but millennials, more women on our side, if we have better messengers for the America First agenda on a congressional level, I believe that we can not only grow our base, we can capture the audience of the Democrats who do not understand this party anymore, like you're mentioning, or so far left now. But the only way to do that is if we have passionate people who are able to message and broaden the base. Somebody like myself has the ability to do that, not only because of my qualifications, but just because of who I am as a candidate. And I think it's very important that we do have new faces and new perspective to broaden the base, because we can't keep relying on the same voter base over and over again. It's time that we have new people.
She is Catalina Lauf. Catalina, where can people get more information about your campaign?
CatalinaForCongress.com and Catalina Lauf.
Catalina Lauf, CatalinaForCongress.com is the website. Former advisor at U.S. Department of Commerce, congressional candidate in Illinois, GOP congressional candidate in Illinois' 14th. She's on the ballot Tuesday in the Western Burbs as well. Catalina, thanks for joining us. Good luck on Tuesday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
She joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Jim Oberweis joins us. He also wants that congressional seat. But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
38 degrees, and we're watching developments at 732 in Arkansas, where state police are investigating there after a Hot Springs police officer was shot and killed in a shootout with a suspect last night. Some cruise line passengers in Florida able to return home after a coronavirus scare. The CDC yesterday saying the Caribbean Princess can dock today in Fort Lauderdale. The Italian government earmarking 25 billion euros to